Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at wheeltalkpodcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks. Started. We're live.
Did we ever tell people that you sing all the time? I don't know if anybody in the
I don't
world
think so.
in the world knows this, but Ryan is one of those people. I tried to videotape him while I was at his house, but he's one of those people that when he's working, he'll be like, I don't know, what's a song that you always sing, some country song. He'll be like, you just
maybe
hear
a country song or or a pop song or Buble or something like that.
Buble. He'll be like, that's what he sounds like.
Just like that.
Just like that, pretty much. Everybody thinks that Ryan's really quiet, but he's not.
I sing in the car a lot.
Yeah.
And then the only other people that I would sing in the car with would be Rachel. But
You sang in the car with me.
with you? Yeah, I guess I did maybe.
Well, that's because I sing too, so we were singing together.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, she says, I hear you singing all the time, but you always make that funny sound like you're mocking it. So I don't know if she thinks that my real singing is mocking. So it's does it sound better in my head than it actually does in real life? So I haven't quite asked her yet, and I can hear her laughing in the other room. So I'm guessing that I just don't have a good singing voice, but it's one of those where you don't actually know what you sound like.
I've heard you sing, and it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right.
I don't know if it's great or if it's bad, but I don't remember thinking, oh, God, he's terrible. Ryan, how are you?
Yes.
How was today?
I'm good. I had, it's Monday, so I just had my home studio, or what do I call it?
Home sale.
I call it the RD Ceramics Open Studio.
Ooh.
Holiday Open Studio.
Fancy pants.
Okay, I think we're back recording. I don't know why that cut out. All right.
Did you hit record and then not record?
It jumped or something.
Okay.
Whatever.
I'll figure it out.
So I named it the Holiday Open Studio because I was trying to do the advertising on Facebook, and I had it Holiday Open House, and I was trying to do ads for it, and it denied me. It said your ad was discriminatory. And it was because I had all the filters on there, but I think it was because I called it open house.
You can't have an open house.
And it had the age and the location and stuff, so I was an interest. So I just renamed it and that fixed it. It didn't really tell me that, but I assumed that it kind of got caught in one of those algorithms or something that was open house that has limits. Denied.
No.
So anyways, I had that this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and I sold a little bit over $1,600.
That's insane.
Pretty sweet. And it was my first ever time doing it. It was inside my garage space of the studio. Saturday, freaking killed it. $1,300 on Saturday. And then Sunday was a lot lower. It was $250 or something.
That's how it always is, though.
But it was pretty awesome because I was just in my studio. And I had the door open so I could see the entry area. And I could just work in the studio while nobody was coming. And then... yeah, got work done.
I feel like that's why, this is a prime example of why you always need to look at a show as a whole, not days. Because it's $1,700. That's a decent sale. But
yeah,
in over 2 days, that's equally decent, especially at your house. But it's the second day wasn't great, but if you didn't have
plus you can kind of undervalue the amount of time and effort it takes to commute somewhere and set it up and tear it down all in the specific time. The stuff is still set up right now.
Yeah.
And I haven't done anything with it. So
yeah, when I did my very first home sale, I called mine a garage sale. I was we called it a pot sale, I think, but I think it was like Becca's crappy pot sale or something like that, because it was all these like seconds and like old stuff that I just wanted to get rid of. And it was all like small cups and small bowls and everything like that. And everything was from $1 to $3. It was...
Dang.
Yeah.
You have like mugs and stuff for $3?
I had some like good mugs for like $20, but there was a lot of mugs that were like $3, $2. And I made $1,500 off of
That's crazy.
$1 to $3 items. It was insane.
And who came to that? Was it mostly neighbors and
Locals,
stuff like that? Or was it...
It was people off of my Facebook group list thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, so the advertising and like total investment, I put $50 into Facebook advertising for 7 days.
Nice.
I had a Facebook event. Like nobody saw the Facebook event unless I did the advertising. So if I wouldn't have done Facebook advertising, I wouldn't have probably got maybe half the sales.
Nice.
And then I put three signs up around the neighborhood on Friday before the show on Saturday. So I just kind of like knock on neighbors' doors and be like, "Hey, I've got this thing going on. Like, can I put this sign in your yard?"
Yeah.
So that helped too. I think I got a few people there, but it was mostly neighbor people. And then like my mom and dad came, and then my in-laws came because we spent Saturday night and like went out and stuff afterwards. So it was pretty good. Overall, it was great. I'll definitely do it again. I don't know if I'll do it like a couple times a year.
Spread it out because, yeah.
I mean, it seems like no work, but it is like, because it's all on me to do the advertising and all that stuff.
It's work, but also like you don't want to make it too frequent because then people don't come.
Yeah.
It's not a special event anymore, you know?
Yeah. I think it's also good that it just got people in the neighborhood to know like about me, that I'm close by.
Yeah.
And, like they saw RD Ceramics on Google Maps and they were like, "What is this?" Like I live a street over. I live on your street and I never knew what this is. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Like they stopped over, which is pretty cool. So, and there was somebody that was like, "Yeah, I got to get some teachers' gifts for my kids later this year. Like, do you have another show going on later in the year?" So at least they know I'm close by. They can contact me and come by. So
yeah, totally.
Pretty sweet. And I had class tonight, so we got one more class next week, and then we'll be done for the session.
I'm about that too, but I had to kind of like cancel for COVID, a COVID related thing. But I'll be done next. I think I was supposed to.
Your classes are shorter anyways, right?
They're 4 weeks. I was supposed to be done
4
this week, but I'll be done next week because I had to cancel a few things because I knew somebody that got COVID, and so then I had to cancel my classes, and it was great. Great, fantastic. Yeah.
How was your day, and what news do you have? You told me you had news.
I have news. So, good news, and we'll see if this is the same when things when this gets released.
When this release it.
But I have a new buyer lined up, and they are, fingers crossed, 95% sure they want to go ahead with it. And so today,
nice.
That's not the exciting news. I mean, that is exciting, but that's not what I'm talking about. Today, I went through all of the bisqueware in the front of the shop, and I counted it to see how much it was worth. And I'm talking about, like, how much I could sell it for. Do you want to guess? You mean,
like, the bisque import stuff?
Yeah, bisque import stuff.
Okay.
Do you want to guess?
When's the last time you ordered?
Oh, a couple months ago.
Okay. Do y'all want to guess the value of it? Retail value?
Retail. So, like, what it could be sold for.
Okay. $8,000.
No.
You're smiling. It must be $25,000.
No, it's not that much. It was $15,000.
Wow.
Plus $1,000 in glaze. I was like,
Is the glaze just like, you have a clear glaze that you use for everything?
No, I was talking, those are stroking coats. Mako stroking coats.
And
Mako, sponsor me because I use all of your glazes.
Is that the only thing you use now, or the Mako? You don't have any underglazes, and then Dunk It and Clear, you just use all stroking coat?
Yeah, I mean, I use Mako stroking coat and then Mako Clear for the low fire stuff, and then I use I do use underglaze, but I use Mako Fundamentals for underglaze. That's for my stuff. And then I make my own glazes for the higher fire glazes, but yeah, I really like Mako. I'm a fan. Yeah. And they just bought out, I think I saw that they just bought out Duncan. So.
Yeah. I saw that too.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of exciting. And then $15,000. I loaded a glaze kiln today, which was, I'm so thankful. One of my friends walked in right when I was about to load it, and I was like, will you help me? And she's like, absolutely. And there was a billion small pots. A billion. I have a student or a member right now that's like making a bunch of little cute, like small dishes. I'm talking like hundreds. And so, thankfully, Jeez. I had to glaze plates today, or put plates in the kiln, so they like fit around those plates pretty good. But I would have been cussing so much had she not been there, just like grabbing them. And
so were you putting those on like the little plate racks that you have, so you can fit like 50 on a plate rack or on a few stacks of plate rack?
I do use the plate racks, but I use my regular shelves first if I can. And then, because I don't have enough shelves to fit to the top if I have really short shelves, because they were like 1.5 inches tall. And so I try to get as many plates, whatever thingies in as I can. And then I use the plate racks on top of that. And then I'll put some of the small things, but it was mostly used for plates. So, yeah.
Nice. I've been firing a bunch of spoon rests in the last few glaze loads, so I've been trying to stagger them, and
yeah,
I'm probably getting like 15 in each glaze, so that's pretty sweet.
I feel like what am I trying to say? I feel like the plate stackers are fantastic, but they're fantastic for very specific purposes. You know, like, they wouldn't necessarily all be good if, if you only had 4 plates, then why get a plate stacker? But I'm firing, 24 plates at a time, and that's where they just take.
I mean, how many of those plate stackers can go up, on top of each other? 8?
I've seen them stacked 50 high in a kiln.
You can fit 50 vertically in a kiln?
Or not 50, maybe 20. Okay, I've seen 20 in a kiln. But because I saw this one kiln it was a long time ago, and he just had, I think it was Paul, I don't know who it was, but he just had stacks and stacks of plates, and it was just 25 high and 3 of them. So maybe 75 plates in a kiln. Insane.
That's crazy.
That's where it makes complete sense, right? But you'd have to buy the plate stackers. They're $20 a pop. You can find them for cheaper, but yeah, it makes sense if you're not going to put any shelves on one side of the kiln. If you have an oval kiln, you're not going to put any shelves on one side, and you could put one and just stack them all the way to the lid.
Can you fit a quarter of a shelf next to the plate stacker, or is the plate stacker just big enough that it's bigger than half of a shelf?
It definitely depends on the kiln you have. But I can fit 2 plate stackers in my center of my oval. So my center shelf is 13 by 26, shelf. And I can fit 2 in there. But I can only fit 1 on the half shelves. But you can fit things around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be ideal if you could find some sort of plate stacker that was only 4 inches, and then you could put 2 on each side of that and stack them up if you had spoon rests or whatever, small plates. Yeah.
Yeah. I just used those shelves that I had. They were half shelves for my smaller kiln. So I want to say they're probably I think my shelves now are 21 inches.
Yeah.
22 inches, something like that. So the smaller shelves I have are 17 inches maybe.
Yeah.
So they fit nicely inside of a bigger shelf.
Your baby shelves are 16 inches.
16 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
They should be at least.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool because I could put all the spoon rests on the big shelf and then put that inside the bigger shelf with space for the kiln posts. Totally. And then I could put more posts on top of that one to stack a second one. It's pretty sweet. Speaking
of, if anybody knows of any plate stackers that are 4 inches that are reasonably priced, let us know. Because that would be an interesting thing to work with. Also, I have another thing. It's been a big week. I had a video go viral last week for a plate hack using a PVC pipe to push down the plate. You know?
Yep. Yeah.
I put it on my highlights in my Instagram stories if you guys want to see it. But
I think that was the one we talked about in the last episode that we recorded.
Right. So I had that go viral. It just
went viral.
Yeah, because it always happens on the day that we talk on a Monday. But it is now at like 4.5 million views, and the before this thing went viral, I had like 54,000 followers, and now I have 146,000 followers.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, that happened this week. And with that, so on top of that, okay. We've talked about this before. I bought a new iPhone this week because I don't know why, but, it's too fucking expensive, I can tell you that. But it's
it's got 8 cameras
and like 25 cameras on the back, and like I can't wait until they have iPhones and you can't even hold it without like touching a camera because there's like 15 cameras.
They're gonna have cameras that like slide out or something.
And I figured because I'm doing all these TikTok videos and there's more video stuff in my life to get like the really good one, so I got the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is
holy shit package.
It's like bigger than my fucking head, and and so I got this, and the only reason that I was able to like quantify the purchase, because I'm not about paying that much for a phone usually, and I pay outright for my electronics because I don't like paying monthly, is because I've made about $600 on TikTok. And that's just from views. So I'm part of like the creator fund, and they pay like 2 to 3 cents per 1,000 views. And with the couple of videos that have gone like ultra viral, I've like just so much like
shit.
Yeah.
So you're using that to kind of pay for your
the phone.
Your phone. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So,
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean it didn't pay for the whole thing. It paid for like half, but
well, you over time it.
But
will
over time
pay
it
for
will.
Itself, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, and so I felt like that was okay to quantify that purchase. But is that the right word? Quantify. I'm really bad at vocabulary.
Legitimize
the purchase. If you're listening to this and you're a longtime listener,
it's on the tip of my tongue,
and sometimes you listen to me say words and you're like, I don't think that was the right word. It probably wasn't, because my vocabulary is total shit. I think that I blame it on my ADHD. But anyway, moving on. So that's what happened this week. Exciting
stuff.
What are we doing now?
I also wanted to say thank you all for the pot swap stuff, because we're in the thick of pot swap right now.
Yeah.
We just got probably 90% of the emails sent out, 95% of the emails sent out to the 400 of you all, and yeah, it's going pretty smoothly, I would say. I mean, we have a few people that are a bit antsy. We kind of expect that, but everybody should have their assignments now. By the time this releases, people will be in the thick of making them and getting them ready to send out at the end of November and early December. So
what are you gonna make?
And we also, I don't know.
I'm sorry, totally just interrupted you because I was excited.
I'm figuring it out. I'll probably do something with my carved pieces, I would say.
I'm making wine glasses, and I'm also sending earrings.
So I don't think I'm gonna make anything like very unique, specific that I don't normally make.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll have something from Baker Hunt that is not in the normal.
Could you do a carved piece that has like an ombre of different colors? Like do like a light blue to dark blue, because I know you like blues. Like do like light and dark and like white and like black.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to
like
mess my brush up.
I'm waving
to get all those colors.
It's not gonna mess your brush up, Ryan.
And not like permanently mess it up, but it's gonna like muddle all the colors, and I'll be like, am I gonna like that? And then what's that gonna look like with 3? How do you do 3 coats of that? And like mesh it all together.
You do 1 coat of the light color. You let it dry. And then you do and then
you do like a medium color and like muddle it with a little bit of the lighter, and like
I forgot that you're not an artist.
I'm not a painter. I don't know these things. I know you have to get 3 coats.
Have Rachel do it.
Then it's not from me.
It's
and I
from
don't know how that's going to come out. That's like
you're
one
joined
piece.
together in matrimony. It's.
She would not want to do that.
You're a team.
Anyways, what are you gonna make?
I'm gonna make wine glasses, and I'm gonna do them in the I'm gonna do them in that style, the
painterly.
Not the mid-century style. Like last year, I did the super straight edge style. This year, I'm going to do This year, I'm gonna do like the new style that I've been working on, which I really love. I like the way it looks, and I'm happy about it. And then I'm gonna send some earrings. Keep in mind, everybody that's listening, we did not choose our people. We didn't.
We have access to the list to see everybody.
Yeah.
But the two that we do not know are, I don't know who I'm getting, and Becca doesn't know who she's getting.
Right.
Because I assigned Becca someone, and Becca assigned me someone.
Right, but also, like, we didn't choose, like, who we're sending it to. Like, what we do is we put the list and then we randomize it. So, whatever was in that list, then...
Yeah, we didn't choose who we were sending to, if that's what you're...
Yeah. So last year I didn't choose. I actually got CRW.
Katie Webster.
Yeah. No, it's hard because I got CRW and then you sent me CM.
CRJ?
I don't know. Like
Charity?
Yeah.
Did you get something from Charity?
So like it was like they were like the same letters. And I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I got hers, or I sent to her, and I didn't even follow her before that really, and
she lives like 15 minutes from me here in Kentucky, and we teach together at Baker Hunt, and she went to NKU with me. Or not with me, but she went to NKU where I went to school at. Why
didn't we visit her while I was there?
I don't know. I mean, she has kids and a husband and a lot of other things.
Moving on. So, like, she, like, you know, and I sent her a big goodie bag of all the things. So, I go pretty crazy on my gift, and that's because I don't, there's not a lot of gifting in my life, so I like to give.
Yeah.
So.
Which is what it should be about anyways, right?
It should be about that, yeah, for sure.
So what I was going to say before Becca rudely interrupted.
I'm sorry. I'm excited today.
We put the inquiry out for people to contribute by donating because we were doing this mail merge thing that we thought would legitimately make sense to pay for because we're sending 400 emails. Otherwise, it would take us like 12 days to send them out with the free version. So we put it like, hey, if you'd be willing to donate 50 cents or $1, and all we needed was like $40, and we got like $100.
Yeah, so thank you so much
from people donating.
And that extra money, that extra money will go towards things for Pot Swap. It's not going to us, but yeah, that was awesome. I think that'll make our lives so much easier, and plus, then we can have way more people next year.
Yeah, that's gonna make it
because
nice
I feel like we've worked well. I'm gonna say this. I don't know how you feel about it. I feel like we've worked less than last year because we hadn't figured out all of the shit out. And this year we kind of have worked a little bit less because we kind of know the ropes.
I mean, we're finding new issues this year that were less. I mean, the scale is double the number of people, so the issues that become problems like get bigger. Yeah. Until you resolve them. So we'll iron stuff out this year that we didn't, have last year, and it'll just get better next year, and we'll come up with new problems next year.
Exactly.
And we have a team to help us out this year, so.
Yep.
All right. Shall we move forward?
I think we shall.
25 minutes in. All right. Let's see. What are we going to? Listener question, or do you want to read a review? You've got a review up, maybe.
Yeah.
We just got a couple new reviews. Thank you all for sending those in.
Yes, thank you.
I check like once a week and just see. We were in a lull. I think we had one at the end of September and then like nothing for a while. So
if you guys want to make us happy, send us reviews because we freaking love them. They're so fun to read. Who doesn't love to read reviews about?
And then you'll hear them on the podcast and hear other people, and you get our live reaction of us reading it.
And if it's funny enough, we might make it into a T-shirt. All right. Here's our review from 1K Flyer. Well, actually, at K2C Creations. Okay, so the title says, "It just keeps getting better." Like some other reviewers, I was not entirely sure what I thought about this podcast, but I admire both Ryan and Becca, and it was nice to listen to their unscripted discussions. I actually came to them only 5 months ago, but I went back to the beginning and listened to them all. Because I binge listened, I was able to see the podcast grow, and they keep getting better. Yay! I love listening to them play off of each other and appreciate their authenticity. Special shout out to Becca. Thank you for your openness and vulnerability. You are willing to share it all, and this is what makes you so very awesome. Oh, and by the way, I learned stuff too. They sneak small lessons into their casual banter without me even realizing it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Ryan's awesome too. I just want to say that.
Thanks. I'm just here to get the gems out of you, so I'm interviewing you most days. So
no, we're working on it.
I'm just kidding. It's a give and take.
It is a give and take. You're smarter than I am, so it works out.
I got the organization. I got the structure. You know, when sometimes if you were left up to just planning what we're going to talk about today without like structuring it at all, it would be a shit show. So
it would be a shit show. A total shit show. He keeps us on track. We all give thanks to Ryan. Okay, so.
All right, so I've got a shorter listener question, maybe.
Okay.
And then we'll go into our longer topic that's stemmed from a listener question as well.
Yes.
Okay, so the first listener question is from Mudheads Pottery. Mudheads_pottery on Instagram. Glazing greenware, pros and cons. I have only witness cones, and what the F are peepholes, and how are they used? Love you both, but Becca is my spirit animal. Laughing face. And another one for Becca. No. Becca +2. All right. All right, glazing greenware, pros and cons. Have you ever done a single fire piece before?
I've done one, and it turned out like shit, but it was like a tiny little cup. Have you?
I've done it once before. I did it on a mug that was a single color, and it turned out okay. But the thing is, like, you have to slow fire that.
Yeah, you do.
So there are some things missing from this question. It says, I have only witness cones, and what the F are peepholes used for. So I'm not sure if they have a manual kiln or a kiln sitter kiln. I have only witness cones.
Buy some cones.
I would say if you were, I don't know, would you say don't glaze greenware and do the whole like single fire thing if you don't have a electronic controller? Because you have to have pretty good control of the kiln.
I would imagine. I mean, from what I've heard, like I said, neither of us have done single fires. From what I've heard, it's definitely you have to have a controlled atmosphere. I mean, I'm sure you could do it. You could do it with, if you had an analog thermocouple, to make sure, because really the most important time is between 1300 and 1600, right?
Yeah, I mean, once you get past the steam.
Yeah,
212.
And like the off-gassing of the chemicals. So the reason that usually, from what I understand, the reason that I feel like we need Josh to answer this question. The reason that it doesn't work is because there's chemicals that burn out of your clay during the bisque firing. That's between like 1300 and 1600 degrees. And if you don't,
I think that's called quartz inversion.
Yeah, the quartz inversion. If you don't off-gas those properly, especially within a single fire, then you're going to get those trapped under the glazes.
Yeah.
And so essentially, if you did ever do like I said, don't quote me on this, Google this, or ask somebody that's smarter than us. If you do ever do it, I would run it on a bisque schedule. So you run a full bisque, and then you continue on to the glaze to cone 6.
Yeah, there is a Facebook group called Single Fire / raw glazed ceramics. And that's specialty. Like, everything they post is pieces that have been single fired, and they ask questions and stuff. But yeah, I did it once. You got to go slow, obviously, so you don't blow the pieces up, and you do not want to blow stuff up that's got glaze on it, because it's going to ruin the whole shelf or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would say if you're going to try it with something small, like a slab or something, or a
like
spoon
a
rest or something small, and, like, might be okay. I mean, I make cone packs that are raw, like, dry greenware and put them into glaze kilns, but I don't put glaze on them.
Right. I fully I fire completely like greenware to straight glaze temperature, but it never like it's all colored clay, so it never has any glaze on top of it.
Yeah.
The Bruning pottery, the guy that I learned from, actually, Larry Bruning, he made a clay that was specific to single firing. I think it might have something to do with like the clay as well, like how well it responds, you know. But then also, like, how do you glaze it? That's what I've always.
You got to be careful. That's the part. So I made sure my stuff was at bone dry when I glazed it.
Yeah.
But you have to be really careful. Obviously, it's very fragile at that state. And the one piece that I did was a mug. And I did a single color. I think I did floating blue. I did not do the whole tongs and dunk it. Like, you don't want to use tongs with a bone dry piece. So I did the, like, pour in, swirl around, pour out, and then I dunked it with, you know, gripping the foot and dipping it. So it's very specific. Like, I don't want to be wiping things with a sponge when it's bone dry, because you're going to be taking clay away. You're going to distort the shape and the clay. So, you know, maybe try with like a shot glass or something that you could just dunk, or some textiles. Maybe a textile would be good to start with.
If you're my spirit animal, I can guarantee you that if you try to single glaze, you're going to break all those pieces. Because that's what I would do. I'd break every single one of them. There's no way. I break bisqueware glazing it sometimes.
What if you put it inside? What if you took it super conservative and put it like inside of a bisqued piece that is like a cup that you could put a textile inside of?
Yeah.
That you could sit inside of it, that's got glaze on it, and then if it explodes, it's just going to explode inside that cup that's bisque-fired.
I definitely think you should definitely fire it like that. But what I'm saying is, like, I wouldn't even get past the glazing part. Like,
I could see that being a shit show if you mess something like that up. Like, you wouldn't want to be layering a bunch and, like, painting on glaze, I don't think. I feel like you'd want to probably dunk glaze.
Yeah, but what if you dunk it and then it freaking breaks and then it goes into the bottom of your glaze bucket? Like, that sounds like the exact definition of hell. Like,
that sounds terrible. I mean, ideally, I guess if it's just clay, if it's bone dry, would it dissolve into the water or the glaze, and then you just have a little bit of extra clay in your glaze?
That's not okay. Like, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
I mean,
the glazing can be tricky.
It.
Yeah, you could probably spray it. That'd probably be the safest way to do it.
Yeah.
I guess. I wouldn't want to paint on, because painting onto bone dry, like, I feel like the glaze would not spread very easily at all.
I mean, you can paint underglaze on bone dry.
And I don't know.
Ha ha ha.
How would you do the inside and stuff too, though?
If you painted the glaze, it'd have to have a CMC gum solution inside of it. So it'd be like a Mako paintable kind of glaze.
Okay. Do we want to say what the F peepholes are?
They're exactly what you just said they are. They're so you can peep inside the hole.
Yeah. So if you're using it's good that you said you have witness cones, because that's where the peepholes come into play. Is if you have a kiln sitter cone or kiln sitter kiln, you're going to look inside the peephole, see the cones that are within, I don't know, what would you say, like 3 or 4 inches of the peephole?
Yeah.
Distance wise, so that you can see all of the cones, and then that's where you're going to see how much they bent.
Yeah.
To temperature or not. And then a little trick you can do is you can add a little bit of oxygen in the hole. So just like, just do a quick little burst of air into the hole, and then it'll break off of the cones and it'll like darken them so you can actually see them better when it's really hot in there. You didn't know you could do that?
No, that's cool. I've only ever roasted marshmallows outside of a peephole. So. Don't do that, by the way. Don't ever.
For you, peepholes are s'more makers.
Don't ever do
marshmallow
that.
Roasters.
It's so bad. But if you want to hear the story about that, we talked about it when we were talking to
Amanda Schwartz from Doghouse Pottery.
Yeah. Wait, are they saying that they only have witness cones, or like are they using cones for a kiln setter as well?
It doesn't say.
Oh, okay.
It says I have only witnessed cones. I think they meant to say I have only witnessed cones.
Okay. Well, if you have a kiln setter and you have a manual kiln and you don't have cones for the kiln setter, you best be getting those.
Well, if I'm reading this as it's written, it says I have only witnessed cons, and what the F are peepholes? So.
Oh, maybe they've only
cons they're witnessing.
Maybe they've only witnessed cons to single firing.
Oh, okay. Actually, that's a good. I read that wrong then.
That's amazing. We've just been talking about.
Okay, I assume that was witness cones, but witnessed cons. I thought that was just a typo. Okay, so they've only seen shit shows where stuff blows up. So what are the pros of it? The pros of it are you get everything done in one firing that probably...
It's faster.
It's faster turnaround time. I mean, the firing cycle as a whole takes longer from start to finish because it's a slow firing. So probably...
Yeah.
I don't know, like 14, 18 hours, 16 hours. I don't know, something like that, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're taking it real slow. Versus 2 firings that are, a 10-hour and a 7-hour or something like that.
Well, really, they're 24 hours because they have to cool down. So you're looking at 48 hours firing time.
So it's probably less energy and then a quick turnaround time.
Yeah, but I think that you definitely have to get the right clay. But look into that group that Ryan talked about.
Yeah. All right. So I totally read that wrong, but all right.
And peepholes, yeah. And also peepholes, if you are in a bind, they can be used to cool down your kiln a little faster. In the summer, I definitely pull all the peepholes at like 700 degrees. So, or at least the bottom one and the top one, so that you can get air in the bottom and move it out the top.
Yeah, some people that don't vent their kiln, or they don't have a vent, they'll like prop the top open and like take the top peep out and stuff like that. For
sure. I always leave all my peepholes in on the bottom and then leave the top one out. It's 100% always that way. I don't know about you.
I leave all my peeps in at all times because I have the downdraft vent, so.
I just have always left the top one open. I don't know who told me that, but that's the way it works.
Yeah. I just try to keep everything going out of the kiln from the vent instead of the holes into the room that I'm in.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Should we go to the actual topic?
I suppose.
40 minutes in. Okay, so this one is from Welcome to the Wheelhouse. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
She has those really funny planters. I remember when I got this, I was like, we need to talk about the fact that she has the most hilarious planters.
What do they say on them?
I'm finding it.
Or are they just like graphically funny?
No, they say funny words. Welcome to the Wheelhouse.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Oh, or maybe they're cups. I guess they're cups. They're so funny, though. There's one that says, sorry I'm late. I didn't want to come. Small boobs, big dreams. Fucker in charge. Douche canoe. Chronic potty mouth. My last fuck has arrived. I love these. You're the best. Go follow her. Welcome to Wheelhouse.
What's her name? Does it say?
Her name is... No. Doesn't say. She's Canadian.
Anyways. Welcome to the Wheelhouse asks, would be awesome to hear an episode or your thoughts and experiences on taking care of your body while producing. I've been feeling it hard lately and I'm sure it's not just me. So I'm guessing she's like been making a ton and just it's getting overwhelming or something.
Probably.
All right. So can you tell if she wheel throws or hand builds? Wheel. Okay. That's our sweet spot. That's what we mostly do. So
yeah.
So for me, for wheel throwing, I stand up and throw. I feel like that's good for me because I can move around. I can get the clay out of the bucket. I can. I don't even have my pedal on the ground, so that I'm not shifting my body weight and like making my like legs stiff and my hips stiff from keeping in one position. So I feel like for me, that's the best for my body with throwing wise. Standing up, I can adjust my my posture and my body weight as I'm making so that I can be in the best position for moving the clay efficiently. And then I take most of my pots I take directly off the wheel and put them on the board, so I'm constantly moving there, cutting stuff off, taking it off the wheel, putting it on the board, going back, getting clay out of that bucket, so I'm not like stuck anchored to a seat and making. Like, what about you for the throwing part of it? You have to sit down.
I have to sit down. So so I would stand and I would not mind standing, but because I like that idea of like being able to kind of like move and like move around. But I have no cartilage in my right ankle, and I was born that way, so I can't. I have. It's probably like 90% of the time I'm in pain from it, so I can't stand. And the wheel that I actually currently have isn't even that good. It's because I do have to put my foot on the pedal all the time. Like, I even had to switch over to my Shimpo RK2s to throw all my pinch pots, like the small bowls, when I was throwing those, because it's just the same speed. I was in so much pain after just keeping my foot on the pedal at the same consistent speed for like 2 hours. So
yeah.
But what I do make sure that I do is I make sure that I have to move my boards. Like, so I can fit 9 mugs on a board, and I make sure that I have to move it up and down. So I have to get up, physically get myself up to move. That way I'm not super stiff. I also, there are like ergonomic stools. I've had one. I didn't like it, but I just use one of those mechanic stools, like the red ones. That like
those have a flat seat, right?
Yeah. I know some people.
It's not like leaning forward or anything like that.
Yeah, there's some people that I've seen that sit in a fucking lazy boy. Like, this guy was like, he's like, I don't know why.
Lazy boy?
Yeah, he was like, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner.
Those things are not, I feel like you have to have some stiffness to your seat. You can't just be like rocking around.
No, it was like lean forward a little bit, but it was like all cushion, That, it looked really comfortable. So funny. I think having a stool that's the right height. I noticed in her, I'm assuming it's a her. I apologize. If it's not, so, I will say they. I noticed in their, post that, that the wheel
their wheel is,
the wheel is propped up. Like, there's a picture of their wheel and it's propped up. And so that's another thing that I recommend is I always prop all of my wheels up a little bit. Like my,
but they're still sitting and throwing. It's just propped up.
It's just propped
with
up.
Like a brick that's like 3 inches tall?
Yeah, I use a 2x4, but mine's a little bit higher anyway. I think that that's really important. I think that they make them a little bit too short, in my opinion. I've also had...
to like hunch over.
Yeah, I've also had some students that like put it almost to like standing height and then sit on a stool so that you're like standing up more. Sitting on a stool, that helps with the back too.
Yeah, my other seat that is for the sitting it's one of those. It's got like, it's got a back, but it's like barely a back. I don't even know what you would call it. It kind of looks like the shape of kind of like a bicycle seat with like the big.
I think like that's the ergonomic one.
Okay, yeah. So it's like tilted forward a little bit, but it's like barely got a back on it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So it's like, but it is tilted forward, and it can go up and down. Pretty significant height difference, but
yeah.
But yeah, I guess my wheel is probably elevated, maybe 3 inches on the sitting one. So
yeah, I always notice that when I'm watching other potters, especially newer potters, when they're throwing, they're always hunched over so much. I try to keep vertical as much as I can. Like I try to like make sure that my back is pretty straight, and I have a lot of strength in my arms, so I don't have to use my whole body to center something. But
yeah, is part of that just getting as close and like straddling the wheel as close as possible?
Maybe.
Versus being like further away, like having 6 inches between your crotch and the wheel head or the splash pan.
Yeah, like my wheel.
Like you need to get like right up on it.
Yeah, my stool like hits the wheel, so there is that. It definitely like raising up the wheel. Work on your arm strength instead of using like you can use your core to push in and center, but on top of that, I think it's super important to have soft clay. Hard clay.
That's a good point.
Hard clay
that's gonna work
will be the difference in everything. Like if you talk to any production potter, they're not going to be throwing with hard clay. They're going to want it soft, like super soft, because it just makes your whole life easier. Your arms aren't hurting.
Especially when you're wedging and stuff too. If we're talking about the early part of the process,
yeah.
I don't know what part of the process her body is taking a toll, but wedging and weighing clay and doing that stuff is also a big toll that we haven't even talked about before we went to the wheel.
Yeah, and like so soft clay is a huge thing. And I saw this trick, and I don't know if you've ever done it. Val did it. I told her about it, and she tried it, and it seemed to work. If you have a super hard block of clay, first you can drop it on the ground. That kind of like releases some of the chemicals or what, I don't know what it does, but it like
I think it just realign or like moves the particles around so that they're not so like stuck.
Yeah. You can also add in like an eighth to a quarter cup of water, seal it back up and put it in a bucket full of water and just leave it over like a day or two, and that pushes the force pushes the water into the clay and it softens up the clay. That's what Val did. She had like an almost hard block of clay and just put a little bit of water in there.
I've done that before. That's when it's like there's a punctured hole in the bag or something and you forget about it and it's in a box under 600 pounds of clay and it dries out so much or whatever. Yeah, there's not really a way to salvage that unless you break the whole thing up into bone dry and then reclean the whole thing. So yeah, the water trick is worth trying.
Yeah, and
I every single time with the clay I do the drop it on the ground trick.
Yeah.
I drop it on all four sides, and then I'll drop it on the bottom and the top or whatever. So 6 drops from 12 inches or so.
Right. And if you don't have a pug mill, like I have a pug mill, so I pug every single bag. I do not throw from the bag anymore. And so I'm putting water in my clay so it's getting softer. But if you don't have a pug mill and your supplier does ship out hard clay, or you're getting clay from Laguna and you're in like Kentucky or whatever, there's no way that clay is gonna be super soft. So just adding a little water in there and just making your life a little bit easier might be helpful.
Yeah. What about the other parts of the clay process? The prepping. I would say I don't wedge clay or weigh clay anymore. I have my assistants do that for me.
Yeah, hire help.
But I would say, would you agree that maybe you don't prep the clay the same day that you're doing it? Like maybe if you have 10 minutes at the end of the night, like prep some clay for the next day so that you're not exerting so much energy.
Yeah.
Right before you throw, if you can. Like splitting up the duties, because it is kind of a toll to wedge clay. If you're wedging 10 balls of clay that are 3 pounds a piece, like that's gonna, depending on your arm strength and your body strength and like how high your wedging table is in relation to your height, your body height.
Yeah. I personally think that wedging is a scam. And
it's just a way to waste time.
Anything under like a pound and a half, like if you're cutting off, the people that you see that throw the most, like what we're talking, like a lawn pottery, me, I don't really throw a ton anymore, but I never used to wedge. Does she wedge it or does she just drop it?
No, just put it in balls of clay.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority of stuff, like 85% of what I'm throwing is less than 2 pounds. So.
Yeah, I guess the way that I see it is it's kind of like taxing twice. Like, the company that makes the clay is wedging the clay in their pug mill, giving it to you, and then you're wedging it again. The
block of clay is already airtight. There shouldn't be air in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, why are you wedging the clay? Like, what's the point?
Unless you're cutting little bitty chunks off and throwing little bitty chunks together. But if you're cutting it off in cubes and stuff like that.
And if you're coning your clay anyway, that's basically wheel wedging. So is it I think that it's something to ask yourself, is wedging necessary to your process? Because, yes, of course, there's plenty of times where it is, like, if it's 10 pounds, 5 pounds, 7 pounds, bigger weights, but,
or reclaim or something like that.
Or something like that.
Like, you might need to wedge that.
But if you're, just pulling straight out of the bag, are you exerting that much energy for, is there a reason, because if you
the energy saved...
Yeah.
Doing wheel wedging over wedging of like 1 pound balls for mugs. Like, do a whole bag without wedging and then compare it to a whole bag with wedging.
Yeah.
And see what the difference is. Mm-hmm. And compare the end result pieces and be like, did I improve my piece? Did I have more issues? Did I have more air bubbles?
Yeah.
Was the clay stiffer? I mean, if your clay is wetter on the outside and then stiffer on the inside, cutting off cubes like it may need to be. You may need to, and then try some like coning up and coning down. Like, look up how to wheel wedge or, do the coning up and coning down if you don't know about that.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good point. Like, if your clay isn't consistent all the way through, if it's not consistent all the way through and that's a consistent thing for your manufacturer, I'm kind of I'm picky about that kind of stuff. So if I didn't have good clay, I'd be like, peace out, home skillet. Like,
I think dropping it on the ground can help with that.
Yeah.
Though.
I also, I don't drop on the ground, but I drop the individual pieces. So, like, I'm going to cut off all my pieces. I'll weigh it all. I'll put it to the side. And then when I round out the clay into a ball, I slam it onto my table, and that kind of, like, breaks it up.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of parts in here, so we're not sure exactly what your whole process is. But I guess we did that part. We went to the wheel, how to position your wheel. What about other taxing parts of the process?
And then let's not forget to talk about, like, vitamins and how we treat our bodies at the end.
What about when you are throwing? Like, what number of batches of things are you throwing? For me, I'm throwing probably 20 to 30 things at once, and then, you might be, like, moving a shelf or something like that. So I would say mix up what you're doing. Like, don't sit there and just throw at a wheel for 6 hours or 4 hours or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Take some breaks and, like, say, like, when I hit this 1 hour mark, I'm going to glaze a few things, or I'm going to load a kiln or trim some stuff, or, like, mix up what you're doing so that your body's not so strained doing the same activity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Straight.
The really good thing that I've done is I found these cubed. I think you have one in your studio. The cube timers. Do you have one of those? Where
is that like a Pomodoro timer?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
A Pomodoro is kind of like you do something for a set amount of time, and then when it goes off, you take a break.
Yeah, but
or you change tasks.
Yeah.
But you're talking, yeah.
I found these timers on Amazon, and they're a cube, and they have different numbers on each side of the cube. On 5 sides, and on the bottom, it has the little on-off switch. But one side has 30 minutes, one side has 60 minutes, one side has 15, and one side has 5, and then one side has an hour. And so you flip the timer to that so the number is pointing up, and then it just automatically starts counting, and then it goes off when that's done. I use those to help with stuff like that. Make sure I get up and walk. It's just, throwing is just like having a computer job. You know, if you're staring at a screen, they always tell you to look,
take breaks, a break. Take eye breaks, look away, and yeah. The other thing with the throwing, I try not to, I don't, like, if I'm sitting and throwing, I try to take my foot off the pedal, like, as much as possible. Like, pick a speed, take my foot off. Like, I don't like to keep my foot, like, in that same position, because that's where the strain comes for me if I'm sitting and throwing, because of the stiffness and, like, keeping it in the same position. So,
and alternatively, because I do have to keep my foot on the pedal, because that's the type, I have an old Stollner wheel that's connected to a bike chain that's connected to the motor, so the pedal is actually a piece of wood, and so I have to keep my foot on the pedal in order for the wheel to actually run. Alternatively, I actually put a piece of wood under my other foot. So my left foot has a 2x4 under it.
It's kind of the same elevation as your other foot.
Yeah, make sure you're not off balance. That's a big, too.
Yeah, that kind of gives me stiffness in my, like I say, my pedal's on the right side. That'll give me stiffness on, like, my left hip.
Yeah.
Like, right at my waist.
Yeah.
If I do that too long, so... And then when I'm throwing, standing up, I'll keep the pedal on my wheel head, like the top of my wheel surface. And I just do it with my hand. Yeah. That way I don't have, like, my foot kind of weird on the floor with a set thing. And yeah.
When I was throwing on your wheel, I had to put the pedal on the floor, but that's because I'm not used to, like, throwing standing up. But it was a little weird, you know, to, like, put your foot on the pedal while you're standing up still.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably more strenuous than sitting and putting your...
definitely not recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else of the process? The trimming and stuff? Like, I feel like the trimming is probably not very strenuous. Yeah. Glazing, loading kilns.
Oh my god, loading kilns. I fucking hate loading kilns.
You're shorter
as a
too,
short,
so
fat person, I hate loading kilns. I got one of those stools from IKEA. They're the blue ones with the polka dots. And I have to use them. But my back hurts so bad every time.
What is that? Just like a little, like, 6 or 8 inch stool?
I think it's 8 inches, like, probably. 8 to 10. Okay. And I use that to get in to, like, but I've literally almost fallen into my kiln. I have gone, like, full, I've accidentally lost the stool and, like, balanced on my stomach on the kiln, like, side.
Oh gosh.
Like,
while you got a freaking shelf in your hand or something that's heavy as hell.
It's so freaking terrible. It's so terrifying. And those big oval kilns, I've heard of people actually falling into them.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
For people that don't know?
But I'm also,
and how tall is your kiln, like, up to you when you're standing next to it?
I think it's right under my chest, probably.
Okay. So it's kind of like right at your midsection, sort of.
Yeah, and of course I have, like, big boobs, so, like, trying to, like,
and you have to lean over and then down because you got to reach all the way to the opposite side.
Right, and I have to...
While it's, 26 inches across on the inside?
Yeah. And I can't reach the far side, especially the oval kiln. I can't reach the far side. The oval kiln and my 10 cubic foot kiln are both really large. I think that's why I like the baby kiln so much, because I don't have to, like, get on a stool to, like, get in. I can finally, like, abandon the stool after I'm 8 inches up in the kiln, like, after I've put about 8 inches of shelves in. But it just hurts.
So do you really
my stomach
choose what you put down there too?
Huh?
Do you really have to choose what you put down there, because you don't want to be loading
I only put
50
tall
pieces
things
down there if you can load, like, 20 pieces down there?
I only put tall things in the bottom. Only ever.
Okay, yeah.
Only ever. I will like, today I had to put this large sunflower bowl that a member did, and it was only 4 inches tall, and I was like, no. And so I'm, like, hanging over the kiln, like, trying to get it in. And I always like have to kick up a foot in the back so that I can like balance. It's just
somebody needs to get a picture of that.
Short people problems.
Oh god.
But I don't know, does your back hurt after you load kilns? Because your kiln is, I could load your kiln without a stool. It's much shorter than mine.
Are you talking about my Olympic one or the other one?
No,
the other one's like 4 inches taller than that.
The L&O, I think.
Yeah. But I feel like that's probably about the same height as yours.
But it's not the same width.
It's not as deep, so like you can actually get on the side of it and load half a shelf. Like, yeah, I would say my back doesn't hurt from that. I'm only loading half shelves. I don't use full shelves, so
yeah.
Like mine are lighter.
And I use full shelves.
Your shelves. Yeah.
In my 10 cubic foot kiln, I only use full shelves because I prefer them.
Yeah, those are heavy as hell.
I use Coralite, so they're a little bit lighter. But
that would be taxing if I had full shelves, but the half shelves help.
And oh my god, in the oval kiln, like it came with the 1 inch like fucking thick ass, heavy ass shelves. I'm so frustrated.
Do you put those on the very bottom and then never touch them again?
I'm so frustrated that I paid $600 for those because all of them cracked. And then I ended up getting advancer shelves, but if I didn't have advancer shelves for my big oval kiln, I think I would probably I would refuse to load it. I would refuse.
Jeez. Yeah, that's definitely a consideration.
Lighter kiln shelves are a lifesaver, especially for women, I think. So if you can't get advancers, which are ridiculously expensive, but worth it, but if you have students, but if you have simple pieces, just get Coralite because they're the ones with the holes in them. They don't warp as fast.
From what I've heard, they don't warp as much and they probably last longer.
Worth the money.
They don't crack as quickly.
Yeah, worth the money for sure.
I had to buy a new kiln shelf for my bottom shelf, and because the kiln that I got was like a really shitty full shelf that had a bunch of glaze drips and shit. But it was only like $36 for a brand new one, so like that was pretty cheap from what I thought. So I wonder I think the Coralite's probably like double that maybe.
You cut out, but the Coralites are like, how much was yours?
Is it like double? My full shelf regular was like $36.
Yeah, I paid like $60 to $100. But I have 26-inch shelves, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big oval kiln has a full oval bottom piece.
Holy shit, really?
A full oval. Yes, on the bottom.
What?
I don't know how.
That's gotta
I don't know
be
why.
Huge.
And you're supposed to like elevate it an inch, but the kiln shelf actually ended up cracking, and so it's just straight.
How would you even load that fucking thing?
The first time I pre-planned and I thought about it, and
you put it before you put the layers
I put it in before I put all the other layers in. The second time, I had to get 2 tall people to do it for me.
Oh
I couldn't even.
Gosh.
There's no way I could even do it. Like
I mean, that thing's got to be like 60 pounds or something, right?
It's so heavy, and like literally, I had to go on Facebook and be like, I need somebody that's tall. And so like
Facebook Marketplace looking for tall people with.
Yeah, and so like
strong upper body.
A friend's husband, it was one person, I think. A friend's husband came by and did it for me. He was like coming home from work. Yeah.
Nice.
But anyway, so yes, get light shelves. We're kind of getting off track, but get light shelves.
Yeah, what about further down the line? The only other thing I was thinking of was like going to and from shows and stuff with knowing what you should put into packaging your stuff so that it's doable for lifting and picking up and not using like 16-inch deep Rubbermaid containers filled with pottery if you can't pick that up because it's like 50 pounds.
Ridiculous. Yeah, they're so
like, don't do that. Do a bunch of the shallower ones that are like 8 inches or 7-inch tall or something.
Still I use very many small stackable containers. So my go-to, and I used bread racks for a long time, bread carts, because they stack really nice, but they're a little bit big and they get kind of heavy. But I think Ryan knows what's coming. Specifically,
I know what's coming because I listened to that episode a few days ago.
Specifically, I get the pepper vegetable boxes from Costco.
Find somebody with a Costco membership and bum bread box or pepper. Did you say pepper?
Yeah, the bell pepper boxes. Don't get the tomato ones. The tomato ones aren't tall enough. You need the bell pepper ones. Because and then you have to tape around the box before you even use it so that they stay together. But I've stacked 10 of those on top of each other with pots in them. And they stay.
Holy shit. That's nuts.
But they're lighter, so you don't have to worry about killing your
and they got pretty hefty handles, too, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like double-walled cardboard, right?
Yeah.
And then it's got a nice,
And they stack right in. They fit right on top of those, like, black and yellow tubs from Lowe's. They fit right inside the lid. And so you can... I would always carry all of my stuff for the show, like my payment stuff, my bags or whatever. That's light. Put that in, and then I'll stack all the ones on top of it, and then I bungee them down.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't... Well, you have a lot of bags, though, to fill one of those boxes, the yellow and black.
Oh, my God, so many.
Bins.
I fill it with like 150 bags.
I use one of those like $1 Marshalls reusable bags that are like really wide, like 18 inches wide or 2 feet wide or something, and like 6 inches deep, and then like it's a pretty big reusable bag, and I just keep like the bags in there. And
yeah, that's too messy for me. And it rains a lot here, so
that's true. Yeah,
you need
that
something
would not
that
be
you
good.
can
Getting paper
put
wet
a lid on
in that.
Yeah.
What else are we missing? I feel like we kind of went from prepping clay all the way to the shows and stuff. I mean,
I think we're missing the most important part, which is how we take care of our bodies.
I mean, I don't exercise anymore.
Yeah, that's because you're like 30 years old and, well, you're 29, and you are really good physically fit and like still act like you're 20.
I go up and down stairs a lot throughout the day.
That's true. I think that the food that you eat is really important. And like I've noticed that I've cut out a lot of like the junk food, and I feel a lot better. And I also take vitamins, lots of vitamins, and that helps. Also, I know that
I just started taking vitamin D, and that's about it. That's the only thing I take.
I did.
5,000. Was it IEU? Something U.
I don't want to read
vitamin D.
I don't want to read you the entire list of things that I take, but
I only started taking that from like Corona stuff. That's the only reason I started taking it.
I take apple cider vinegar, magnesium, vitamin D, collagen, peptides, iron, fish oil, cranberry, turmeric, elderberry, B complex, rhodiola, zinc, and one other that I can't pronounce. Yeah. So, I'm all about the vitamins. Yeah, I think it's really important to take care of your body, obviously. Stretching is good too, if you can.
Do you stretch? When do you stretch?
I try to like stretch before I, like at least a little bit in my own little ways, like before I start throwing and after. And stretching your hands is really good too. Making sure that you're stretching your fingers out so that they're limber. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm like big, and we're both like cracking our fingers right now. I'm like big on alternative sorts of therapy. And so I use, I know, Ryan, you don't do a lot of this stuff because you probably don't suffer from like
I don't do anything.
So I use red light therapy, and I also use magnetic pulse therapy. So magnetic pulse therapy, I have it under my bed and I sleep on it, and it helps with my joints and the pain because I have a lot of chronic pain and like.
What does that use? Is that like a mat that you sleep on?
Kind of. It's two like magnetic, like they're like little discs, and they go under your mattress and they pulse through the bed. And it just kind of like moves your blood around and like moves all the things inside of you around so that it's not like stagnant, and then it helps with inflammation and stuff like that. And so that's called magnetic pulse therapy. And then I also use red light therapy, which is infrared light. And that is, Ryan can see it. It's that thing.
Yeah. So like a muscle stimulator or something?
Yeah. So infrared technology has been proven to like help with joints and like muscle relaxation. And I also actually sent one to Rebecca as well, Rebecca Graves. She uses it for her back and stuff like that. And so I use it as well for my back and for like my ankle whenever it hurts really bad. And it's just like a red light that kind of like penetrates your bones. They're really expensive, but it's been worth it in my case. The brand that I use is called Platinum LED, and I use the Biomax series, not the less expensive one, the more expensive one. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm like really into alternative solutions because I don't like to take medicine and Advil. So
yeah, I try to avoid pills as much as possible. So I'm like, do I have a headache? No, it's not bad enough to take a pill.
Right. Yeah.
If it is, 2 ibuprofen, that's it.
Yeah.
But I only have a headache like once every 4 months or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not...
When I went on my food cleanse and I didn't eat basically anything except for like protein shakes and meat, I felt better than I've ever felt in my entire life. I was so like had so much energy and my back didn't hurt.
You said from the protein shakes and meat only?
That was like it. And
yeah.
I'm not going to go back to that though. That was annoying. But
yeah. Well, you said you don't drink hot drinks like coffee or tea. So what do you drink throughout the day normally? Is it like water?
Yeah, I drink these like sparkling waters. They're called Spindrifts. And
okay. Rachel drinks sparkling water all the time.
Yeah. The ones that I drink only have like real fruit in them, like fruit juices. So it's like lemon, grapefruit, and then raspberry. And then I do drink Lotus, which is like caffeine, but it's like sweet. So it's like green coffee beans. So I do drink that like a little bit. But I drink a lot of water. So
yeah, I don't like anything sparkling water. Like LaCroix and stuff. Like
hate it.
Hey, I hate all the sparkling stuff like the seltzers and yeah.
Get
out of here.
It's really important to stay hydrated for sure. I think that sometimes we forget that water is such an integral part of.
It sounds like easy to be like if Rachel's feeling weird, I'll just be like, "Did you drink a lot of water today?" Like I feel like that's an easy like. Did you at least do this part?
Yeah. Did you at least hydrate yourself? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, like, I took a food test, too. If you're having issues with, like, joint pain and back pain, it might be because of a food that you may not be agreeing with you. So, I took a food blood test. I did the Everlywell one, which is, like, a popular one, but then there's this other one that a naturopath gave me. It's called Life Extension. It's a little bit more, but it's a little bit more pinpointed. And it worked out really well. And it turns out I'm intolerant to like everything. So
is that like they send it to you and you
prick your finger,
your blood and stuff?
Yeah. So
okay.
If you, and we're definitely not giving advice about like,
and we're not doctors and
not
stuff.
Doctors.
So we're just giving you like our experience. So.
Yeah.
And we're also 30 years old, so like I don't know what other health concerns people have that are different ages than us and have different genetics than us, and
I want to start walking,
their body strength and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to start like taking lunch and like actually like walking around. You know, I feel like that would help too with like back pain and stuff.
Yeah, that'd probably help.
Yeah.
Better than sitting and like laying on your back or something, right?
I also think it would be good to get like a chiropractor on here to talk to us about like what stretches we can do. But that's kind of like visual. But
yeah. Have you gone to a chiropractor before?
I haven't, but Rebecca goes to one And
yeah, I've never went to one.
That's the one I was thinking if he would be willing to. I have to talk to him. But yeah. It'd be good to get somebody on here because I know that I've seen some videos that he's done that's been like, this is how you can stretch your back if it's like hurting in your lower back and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say generally not bad advice for anything would be just mixing up what you're doing so you're not stagnant doing the same thing over and over and over and over.
Definitely.
Plus, I think it's fun to just like make series of things so you can enjoy it more rather than like I have to make 50 mugs.
Yeah. I make more things like, at 30 at a time.
Let's make 20 of these and then make 20 bowls.
Yeah.
Or like make 20 of these and prep some clay for the next thing. Take a 30-minute break and then maybe throw 20 more of something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just kind of mix it up so you're not doing something straight.
I feel very fortunate in the fact that I don't have to make a ton of stuff right now, you know? Like I'm not making 150 pieces a day. I used to do stuff like that, but what I like to do is like when I was in the thick of things, I'd like to throw 30 pieces or throw 50 pieces, trim or handle 50 pieces, and then glaze 50 pieces. So, like, split that 150 up.
Across a week?
No, a day. Across a day. So, like...
One day?
Yeah.
Shit.
Like, when I was doing it, you know, hardcore.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that way you're not like, oh, my God, I'm so sick of throwing, like, 150 pieces. Instead, you're throwing 50, handling 50, glazing 50. So it's like a constant movement, you know?
Well, the good thing about our process is you can be doing, 8 different things throughout the process, depending on, what state your pieces are in. And you can always be doing something new. It's not, you don't have to. It's not like you're sitting down to paint and you can only just paint.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
There's so many different
what goes
things
into painting, but I mean,
I had one more thing. I think it's really...
What is it?
I think it's really important to have a table that's high enough.
A working table, whether you're wedging or... Yeah.
Because for the longest time when I was in my basement, I just worked on a folding table, and it was like, at folding table height. And it turns out that I prefer a table that's 3 feet high as opposed to like 2.5. Or I don't know, like
36
like
inches,
right at my
so you're
waist.
standing and it's
like right at my waist,
versus
so
a 30-inch table,
so that I'm not like bending over. It's kind of like the same situation like when you're washing dishes, so make sure that you have the right height of table that you're working on. And like when I pull handles and when I attach handles, you're pulling out of the bucket, which is another 8 inches, and then I actually attach handles on something that's the same height as the bucket. So I don't attach it on the banding wheel, but I attach it on a plaster. Like I did a plaster mold in a bucket, and so I turned that over, and that's what I attach handles on.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that would relate to that would be sometimes I'll work on my wheel, my standing wheel, if I'm doing something like. If I'm carving, I'll do it on top of my wheel top, on top of my wheel head. But I also have the banding wheel that's elevated, 6 or 8 inches, so that it's kind of at eye level, and I sit down while I do it.
Yeah.
Because I want that steadiness, and then I can like rest my arm on the wheel splash pan and carve, so it's at eye level.
Yeah.
And my hand stays straight. It's extended straight. It's not like crooked or like bent or anything, because that'll put strain. So I think the elevated table is good for sure. Like I don't know any work table that's like 30 inches that's like ideal with like a regular chair.
No,
I feel like that's not ideal for the stuff that we're doing.
I feel like every single art table has a stool and it's higher, just in general.
Yeah. Alrighty. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Of what we can, at least.
Yeah. Given what the question was asking, so.
Make sure you do your own research. We're not legally binded. to any information we just gave you. Google that.
They're buying
shit.
a red light. They're buying a red light tomorrow.
Well, it can't hurt you. I don't think, at least.
I mean, it can hurt your pocketbook.
It certainly can hurt your pocketbook. That's for damn sure. Get the small one, by the way, from experience. The big one looks nice and all, but get the small one.
I'm curious. Other makers that are potters, like, who do you talk to about that kind of stuff? Like, who are the best? Is it like physical therapists? Is it like chiropractors? Because they understand the
way we move.
The body strain that you have as a potter.
I don't know.
Probably physical therapy and chiropractic.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to know a physical therapist or a chiropractor that's either done pottery or knows a potter. You know, that's why I was thinking about Rebecca's physical therapist, because if they don't know how you're performing your daily tasks, then they have no way to help you, right? Like, we have pretty specific, movements and positions that we sit in.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Cool.
Thanks. Welcome to the Wheelhouse for the question. Hope we answered it. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it, and we're having so much fun. If you want to follow us individually on Instagram, you totally can. Ryan's Instagram handle is @RDCeramics, and mine is 5 Lines Pottery. That's the number 5. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to write us a review on our podcast. We read every single one of them, and we totally appreciate them. They help us out an awful lot, and they also put smiles on our faces. I hope you guys continue to listen, and we love you. Thanks. Bye.